Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. The Brian Craig Show is brought to you by Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. Tom Laporta will never sell you a roof you do not need, and if you're in the state of Florida, he can handle any job of any size, whether you need a roof repair or replacement on any type of structure, residential or commercial in the state of Florida. Tom Laporta can help. Online at laportaroofing.com. Okay, today is our last episode before the official presidential election, which is tomorrow, the re-election of Donald Trump. And, you know,
it's amazing when you think about it.
It's crazy.
I mean, we've been through with all of you guys, 3 campaigns with Trump, and this is it. Like he says, it's coming to an end, that he's not running again. This is it. It's wild.
And, you know, out of all of the radio shows I have ever done, and I don't know how to put a number on how many podcasts. This is.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, if you put together all the radio shows and podcast episodes I've done in my career, I don't even know how to put a number on that.
I think you have talked more about Trump than he has talked about Trump.
Well, here's the thing,
Honestly.
though. Out of every show I've done since my very first broadcast, I have never had people in the audience as triggered as they were today towards me on the radio. And I'll tell you what happened. And I brought up something quite often on the radio show this morning that I don't think anyone, including Democrats, had really realized. Okay? And I'll tell you what it is in just a moment. And when it's something everybody knew, but they didn't think about it in the way that I shared it. Mm-hmm. So when I shared it the way I shared it, it triggered a lot of Democrats this morning on the radio. I mean, I've never had people so angry at me. Listen, and this is what happened. Now, the early voting is now over. I voted for President Trump on Friday. The early voting for Republicans is a record turnout. It is the highest voter turnout for Republicans in history, and it's the lowest voter turnout for the Democrats in history. And this early voting that we have now, I call it voting month, is really what it is. Voting month. You know, this started after the 2000 recount in Florida. After the 2000 election in Florida, when that all settled, and George W. Bush, you know, was sworn in, this early voting month started around the country. Okay, so it was like, I don't know if it was the first election or the one after, but it's been going on since 2002, 04. For the last 20 years, the Democrat Party's entire national election strategy has been built around early voting. That's their whole thing. They spend all their time doing this.
And ours has always been to vote on election day.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. So
which doesn't work as well.
And I realized this. I didn't realize this until last time, okay? Yeah. Because when Trump was running against Biden, now again, it was a different era because, you know, we had the lockdowns and shutdowns and all that stuff. But Biden wasn't really doing much, right? And when he did, he was doing these ridiculous things. Like, remember the drive-in where instead of clapping, people honk their horns, and they'd have like 12 people there in circles and stuff. And then when the election was over is when I realized, and I think others too, that the Democrats, they don't concern themselves with rallies and events. It's all about the early vote. Right. And after the election was over, we started talking about voting early next time in 2024. 4 years ago, we were talking about you needed to vote early in 2024. A lot of people were hesitant and resistant. I understand why. But what I talked about at the time, and then thankfully, not because I brought it up, but it just coincidentally, President Trump and the Trump family started talking about it later, is that Republicans have to start voting early, because if we wait until Election Day, the Democrats have tens of millions of votes on Election Day, so we got to catch up and surpass. So this time around, the Trump family took over the RNC, which means they control the party mechanism, the machine of the Republican Party nationwide, and promoted and organized early voting. And that's why Republican early voting is at a record high. And the Democrats, because they got a pathetic candidate and things are so bad in the country, I don't need to go through, you guys know everything, border economy, all that stuff. Okay, the Democrat turnout's at an all-time low. Out of the Republicans who voted, 99% of Republicans who voted early voted for Trump. The Democrats, not all of them voted for Kamala. Some of them voted for Trump too, like my mother, right? So what I said today on the radio, and I said it several times, that triggered liberals in the audience like people have never been triggered at me before, which is saying a lot because I've done some crazy stuff over the years, is that as we are speaking right now, Donald Trump is millions and millions and millions of votes ahead of Kamala Harris. All this talk about this poll and that poll, which Kathy and I will talk about in a few minutes, but all this talk about the polls and how close it is, it's not close. Donald Trump is tens of millions of votes ahead of Kamala Harris now, the day before Election Day.
The guy on Newsmax.
Which one?
Rob Schmidt.
Oh, yeah, he's very good.
Really handsome guy. He tweeted today that when Reagan was running against Carter, they had Carter for the win, just like they had Hillary for the win in 2016. So I Googled it, and I found some old articles by the AP and all these news, prominent news people that had Carter beating Reagan, or it was a dead heat. Carter got destroyed. He won one state, I think. And
Reagan won 44 states in 1980 and then 49 in 84.
Yeah, I mean, but when he ran against Carter,
Reagan won 44.
No, but Carter won 6 states. Mm-hmm. So that's still a blowout. That's a landslide
it's a
victory.
Landslide.
And they had them in the polls, if you read the old articles, neck and neck, like they're saying about Harris today. No, that is, all the polls are all over the place. I follow this one guy. All he does is post polls. They're all different every minute. Harris now Trump. Now, I mean, it's just crazy. There's so many pollsters, so many things. There's just really no way to predict something like this because you're not factoring in, or the polls don't factor in, that sometimes people aren't honest when they're getting polled. And a lot of people change their mind, or they might say they're going to vote for Harris and then they just don't bother going. They're like, you know what? I'm just not going to vote.
But you know what, Kathy? Trump,
there's a lot of other factors that they don't take into consideration that affect the final outcome.
Trump's been talking a lot, and he talked about this over the weekend. He's been talking a lot in the last few weeks. He doesn't even think they actually poll people. He thinks they just make numbers up, a lot of these pollsters, and take all the money. So, it's not close. Trump is tens of millions of votes ahead the day before the election. And this is another thing, too. Donald Trump is the first Republican presidential candidate in history to be ahead in early voting. Mm-hmm. No Republican running for president, incumbent or not, has ever been ahead of the Democrats in early
When did they start
voting.
Early voting? Reagan didn't have early voting.
The early voting like we have it
we had
now.
One-day voting.
There's always been absentee.
Right.
Okay. But not many people. When you vote early, you're really voting absentee in many states. But the early voting that we have now, like I said at the start, has been in place for about 20 years.
Right, okay.
Okay, before that they had absentee, but you had to show reason why you couldn't show up.
And it was really just a one-day thing.
So get this. So President Trump is tens of millions of votes the day before Election Day ahead of Kamala Harris. The Democrats' vote is already very low. On Election Day tomorrow, there's a lot of Republicans who still don't trust early voting. I get it. And they will turn out on Election Day.
Yep.
Kamala Harris's turnout has been low through the entire early voting period, which is when their entire thing is done.
It's not going to pick up tomorrow.
It's not. And now the television, what's going on right now, and you're going to see a lot of this tomorrow, okay? I've been through enough of these to know how they operate in the media. The media have a vested interest in Trump losing. This has been their whole thing for a decade, okay? The media have been focused on stopping Trump every minute of every day for the last 10 years, and this is their last opportunity. So, in their mind. So, what you're going to see tomorrow, you're going to see television stories and Twitter reports and things that show empty polling locations. And they're going to say, oh, turnout's low. Look at this. We're in this Republican district. There's hardly anyone here. Don't believe any of that. What's going on with the media right now, and they're working hand in hand with the Democrats, it's a psyops. They're doing this psyops operation to try to discourage Democrats they're trying to discourage MAGA Republicans from voting tomorrow. They want this fake poll out of Iowa.
Because they know that a huge chunk of conservatives will vote tomorrow. They know that. They know they have a lot of early votes, but they also know, like what you said, that a huge chunk of MAGA people are waiting till tomorrow to vote. So they're trying to chip away at that.
Yeah, total psyop.
Yeah.
So don't believe any of it. Okay,
No,
don't believe
just
any
vote.
of it.
Just vote. That's what Trump says all the last few rallies. Just vote. He says it's all you got to do. Don't worry about anything else. Lara Trump's on everything. We got lawyers. Don't worry about it. Everybody's monitoring things. Just get out and vote.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Now, another thing too, they're trying to make you think that abortion is going to cost Trump the election. And I was talking to that guy, Never Trumper Steve, called in, and he brought that up to me. He was one of the first calls I had this morning, and he may have been the first. I don't remember. And I told him something that he said wasn't true, but it is true because I talked about it very much at that time here on the podcast and on the radio and on YouTube and everything else. This idea that abortion is a big issue with women and that they're going to turn on Trump because of abortion. First of all, not only did Trump not outlaw abortion, overturning Roe v. Wade by the Supreme Court actually made abortion laws more liberal in some parts of the country. Abortion is not illegal, and it's not illegal anywhere. And Trump has said repeatedly that he would veto an abortion ban. He would never sign an abortion ban into law. J.D. Vance has backed him up on that. But here's the thing about it. This is what I told Never Trumper Steve. I said, women don't care about abortion that much anymore. This isn't the 70s. Mm-hmm. This isn't the 80s. When Roe v. Wade was overturned by the Supreme Court, I was in shock. And this is what I told Steve, Never Trumper Steve. There were no meaningful protests around the country. I thought for sure there were going to be mass marches of women in the Handmaid's Tale costumes, like during the Kavanaugh hearings, on the streets of America protesting the overturning of Roe v. Wade. None of that happened. There was no protest in this country over it. I'm not saying that there weren't liberal pundit women on television griping about it. What I'm talking about, there was not a march in the streets of this country anywhere against it. And he said, that's not true. It was everywhere. I said, no, it was not. Go back and look. I talked about it at the time. So I don't think abortion is a big issue for women today. It is with maybe the old ladies. And I don't think it's an issue for a couple of reasons. One, there's so many types of birth control now. Years ago, when abortion was a big issue, okay, all that women had for birth control were three things. Condoms, diaphragms, and the pill.
And the IUD.
That came later.
Oh, okay.
IUD came later. They had the diaphragm, condoms, and the pill. That's it. And those are not sure-proof methods of birth control, okay? Now, I don't even know what all these things are. There's all kinds of forms of birth control that is incredibly effective. So the number of unplanned pregnancies is very small compared to what it used to be years ago. And this feminazi thing that used to go on where, I am woman, hear me roar. Women have total equality. There's no problems. They don't have that gripe thing. Because the abortion thing for those women, a lot of it was about not having men tell them what to do. We're beyond that.
Okay. Plus another factor, and Megyn Kelly talked about this, is there's nothing Kamala can do to overturn Roe v. Wade. She cannot. She doesn't have the votes even now to make it the law of the land. So them running on that is for people to believe that she can do something is not going to happen. And another thing is they have feminized men so much, and you've talked about this, that the gender with the gender fluidity, there's probably less people than when we were in our 20s having intercourse, and maybe there's not as many girls getting pregnant.
Not that kind of intercourse, because there's all these genders and things going on.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So they've kind of, made it not as prominent.
I think a lot
just through that alone.
What? Girls that want to have like regular sex and get pregnant probably have a hard time finding a guy these days, as hard as it is to believe, to do that kind of thing.
Oh my goodness.
And there's,
I don't know. I'm not in that world.
Kathy and I will,
we've been married almost 30 years here. So
28 years in December.
28 years in December. That's not our world. So, when we were in our 20s, it was the 90s. And it was definitely a different time.
And there's another thing, too, with women, okay?
We didn't even have the internet.
That's true.
when we were in our early 20s.
That's true. Actually, the first time I used the internet is like on one of our first dates. I came to your house. You had the internet. I didn't have the internet.
It was like 95.
And it was back when
96.
They had different internets. Like there was like MSN. There was like .com and .msn. Remember that?
We had AOL dial-up.
Yeah. But anyway.
That was the big one.
So another thing with women, there's two things that I think women are concerned more about than abortion, which is way down on the list. And there's a lot of things women are concerned about, but two other big ones. I think one is the inflation, because I think in most households, women handle the household budget so far, at least when it comes to food shopping, paying the household bills, and taking care of the kids. And women understand more than men the struggles that families are having due to this over 50% inflation. And the other thing is this, okay? The other thing is this. All this thing about the biological men in women's sports, where they have men beating women up in the Olympics. They have the volleyball player that, like, it was crazy. The swimmer. I think women, both girls that are of voting age, that are young and athletic age, mothers and grandmothers, really don't like the idea of their daughters, granddaughters, or even themselves being in the locker room with a fully naked, 6-foot-tall, transgendered person with a penis walking around naked, or being in the ladies' room at Target and guys coming in using the ladies' room. I think that's a bigger issue for women.
I promise you, I would hope most parents that have daughters are more concerned with their daughter not having to play a man in sports or be in a bathroom with a guy than they're concerned about their daughter having an abortion. Kamala Harris has put out the most bizarre ads. And she had one ad where a guy, she does these ads where somebody votes with their spouse. I don't know if you've seen them. And the one spouse goes against the other and secretly votes.
She's trying to divide marriages.
And well, not only that, she's basically saying that people are too embarrassed to admit they like Kamala, that they have to vote for her in secret.
Yeah.
It's too shameful. But she has one ad where a father, his wife is like, wearing a MAGA hat, or his friend is wearing a hat with an American flag, because all people wear American flags are horrible people. And he goes and votes with his friend. And his friend said, "Oh, I hope you voted the right way." And of course, he voted for Harris secretly. "Oh, yes, I did." And then his little 6-year-old daughter says, "Daddy." She just happens to be there and runs up to him. And then it says, "Vote to save your daughters." So you got illegals coming across the border that are killing young women.
Raping them
and killing them. You've got men playing in women's sports. You got freaks in the bathroom. But Kamala is trying to convince fathers to vote so their 6-year-old daughter can grow up and kill their grandchild. It is the dumbest ad campaign I've ever seen. And then I saw one ad where one of her super PACs had a guy masturbating to porn.
Yes.
I've seen 2 of those, I didn't go out and look for them. They were on X. I don't know who is running her campaign. It's a bunch of freaks.
Well, the porn ad,
perverts.
The porn ad, you told me about the porn ad, so I looked it up on X, right?
It's nuts.
So this Kamala Harris porn ad,
and they have one of him having sex with a girl.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a literal porno.
There's a guy sitting at in his living room or something, and he's watching porn. You can hear the porn. You don't see it. He's masturbating,
which you can see.
And then a guy comes up to him and says,
in a red tie,
if Donald Trump wins, he's going to make your pornography illegal. You won't be able to masturbate and watch porn. I couldn't believe.
So ridiculous.
This message brought to you by Kamala Harris.
Why would that be a bad thing? Not that Trump's going to get away with porn, but I'm just saying. Why is that
bizarre,
a bad thing?
Bizarre.
I mean, pornography is the exploitation of women. Mm-hmm. It's mostly girls that are hooked on drugs, that have been abused their whole life. I mean, I just don't understand their whole campaign at all. I don't understand anybody who can vote for this lunatic, and she's so stupid. She can't even talk on her own without somebody directing her and telling her what to say. She can form no sentences on her own. I don't get it. And I got to tell you, people like Bill Maher and all these people, I don't think they're voting for her. I really don't. Yeah. I think they're just going on TV. Whoopi Goldberg today had Liz Cheney on, and their whole show, I didn't watch it, but I saw clips, was about how dangerous Trump is and this and that. And Whoopi Goldberg said Liz Cheney should be in charge of the CIA and the FBI and the Attorney General.
All of them.
Is she even a lawyer? I mean, Whoopi Goldberg is probably the dumbest woman on the planet.
Well, remember when Whoopi...
She doesn't even know how the government works.
Remember when Whoopi wanted Jill Biden to be the Surgeon General?
Yeah, she thought she was
a medical doctor.
Please don't listen to Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
She's a good actress, But
Very
she's
good.
a dumb woman, and she thinks Republicans want to put black people back in chains and bring back slavery. Why would we bring back something we ended?
Exactly.
She's so stupid.
That's true.
But anyway, I brought up
we'll
this
do that
article.
in the next segment.
Okay, yeah.
I want to tell everyone, though, that incredible deals right now at MyPillow.com. With our promo code Kane at checkout, you can save up to 80% off of some of the most popular MyPillow products. You can use our promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, on all the specials at MyPillow.com. It's free shipping on orders over $75. And Kathy and I, we have so many MyPillow products. I'm going to list some of them. I'm sure I'm going to leave some out. The MyPillow mattress, the MyPillow mattress topper. We have all three of the sheets, the flannel sheets, the Giza elegant sheets, and the Percale sheets.
Definitely get the flannel for the wintertime.
Oh, they're spectacular. What else do we have? We have the slippers, we have the pet beds, we have the MyPillow towels. We have every type of MyPillow there is. We have the regular MyPillow, we have the Giza Elegance pillow, and we have the MyPillow 2.0 with the temperature regulating technology. The MyPillow robes. We have everything. And none of these things were given to me by MyPillow. We bought them all with our promo code Kane at checkout. Sometimes they'll call and say, hey, would you like us to send this or that? And we already have it. So I was like, no, I already have it. Could you send it to someone else? The prices are really good right now, incredibly low deals. It's a great way to do your Christmas shopping. Mike Lindell was at one of the rallies with President Trump over the weekend. I saw him on Right Side, and President Trump was talking to him from the stage at one of the rallies. So remember, when you use our promo code Kane at checkout, huge deals, free shipping on orders over $75. And, of course, with every purchase, you're not just supporting Mike Lindell and MyPillow, but when you use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, you're supporting all of the content I bring you, the podcast, the radio show, and my YouTube channel, and that's greatly appreciated. So go to MyPillow.com and use our promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. We're going to take our first break and be right back.
Our world is overflowing with consumer choices. What if there was a way that buying nothing could be the most meaningful purchase you'll ever make? That's what the Buy Nothing Project is all about. The Buy Nothing Project is a revolutionary experiment led by Alex Thompson. He's a father of two on a mission to challenge the status quo and fund his educational journey. The Buy Nothing Project is simple. You choose how much you pay, even if it's just a penny, for absolutely nothing. Then pause, reflect, and rethink what truly brings satisfaction beyond material things. All the proceeds will help Alex complete his education and spread this transformative idea around the globe. This movement is going viral. It's sparking conversations and inspiring change, much like the Ice Bucket Challenge that engaged millions in the world in the fight against ALS. The Instagram Egg, a simple message that broke records for likes. The Dress Debate, which was a viral discussion that divided opinions on color. The Bottle Cap Challenge, a fun and engaging way to raise awareness and showcase creativity. Be a part of the global conversation that redefines value and connection. Visit BuyNothingProject.net right now and join the thousands of others in supporting this powerful initiative. That's BuyNothingProject.net. No products, no promises, no strings attached. BuyNothingProject.net. Share the link on all your social media so your friends can join in too. BuyNothingProject.net, where buying nothing means everything. Exciting news. Your free 2024 U.S. Election Smart Catalog is here, so you can stay connected 24/7 online at smartebooks.store. This ultimate guide to everything election related that will keep you informed, engaged, and connected wherever you are is absolutely free right now. Inside, find TV channels, radio stations, and newspapers from Democratic and Republican organizations for well-rounded coverage. 50 states' official websites to give you quick access to your local election news and resources, real-time news and updates, so you're always up to date with the latest election buzz. This catalog is perfect for anyone who's passionate about staying in the loop during election season. Whether you're following debates, local news, or checking poll results, this catalog has you covered. Using it's easy too. Just scan the QR codes in the catalog to access specific channels, websites, and updates that are tailored to your state and media preferences. It's user-friendly, powerful, and your one-stop election companion. Visit smartebooks.store to download your free catalog right now, or check out the Etsy shop, printqualitystore.etsy.com. And don't forget to use the coupon code SAVE30 for an exclusive discount on your purchase. Stay informed and stay empowered. Download your free 2024 U.S. Election Smart Catalog right now, online at smartebooks.store, or email contact@smartebooks.store for free ebooks and special updates. Get ready for the election season like never before. smartebooks.store. Are you looking for a delicious treat that's also good for you? Look no further than Well Right Gummies, online at wellrightgummy.com. That's right, R-I-T-E. Well Right Gummies are your guilt-free snack that's bursting with flavor. These tasty gummies are not only vegan and halal, but they're also kosher and free from common allergens like soy. Whether you're on the go or just craving something sweet, Well Right Gummies are the perfect choice for everyone. You can indulge in a snack that supports your lifestyle and satisfies your taste buds too. Grab a pack of Well Right Gummies today and enjoy a delicious treat that's kind to your body and our planet. Gummy vitamins are a popular and convenient form of dietary supplement, especially for individuals who may find traditional pills or capsules challenging to swallow. Gummy vitamins often contain essential vitamins and minerals such as vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin B complex, calcium, and more. Well Right Gummies come in a variety of delicious flavors and colors. They're not only nutritious, but fun to take each and every day. Go right now to wellrightgummy.com. That's right, R-I-T-E. And order yours today. wellrightgummy.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Okay, so you gave me this article, Kathy. And I'm on your laptop. Kathy and I don't know how many of you have this thing where you have the pad on your laptop, and mine is set up to do things by doing different things than yours is.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like you click different parts of the pad, and it's hard for me to use yours. But you have this article. Actually, you gave me two articles. And this article, oh man, is great. Ex-Obama campaign manager Jim Messina admits that early voting data is, in his words, a little scary for Kamala. He said the data, which shows a jump in GOP early voting turnout, see what I've been telling you, has prompted several of, quote, my friends to call me panicking. This is an Obama campaign manager who's getting calls from friends that are panicking. The early vote numbers are a little scary. The 2012 Obama aide conceded on MSNBC's Inside with Jen Psaki. Republicans didn't do what they did last time, which was not, stay home and not do the early voting.
Right.
Last time Donald Trump said, don't vote early. Remember that? He said, vote on Election Day.
Yeah, he did. He said that a lot, and I think he regrets saying that because I think they would have been way ahead like we are now.
Well, he corrected it. So,
yes.
Obama's 2012 campaign manager, he says, last time Donald Trump said, don't vote early, so they didn't.
Right.
Republicans do have an advantage in early vote numbers this time. When the early votes come in, it's going to look a bit different, and that's scary, he said. Republican early vote turnout has jumped in battleground states that reveal party breakdown. Not all states reveal party breakdown, okay? So the states, though, that do give us information. The data includes a jump of 9 points in Arizona, a jump of 9 points in North Carolina, 4 in Nevada, and a jump. Now, this is of Republican early voting. Listen to this. And a jump of 22 points in Pennsylvania relative to the 2020 early voting turnout.
Well, they say
and that also includes the mail-in votes.
They
as well.
say that the Amish have come out in record numbers.
Yeah.
For Trump this year, they're all voting, like they didn't do that before, and that's like 90,000 just on that alone, I think, around there.
Yeah. So an increase of 22% in Pennsylvania that's early voting and the mail-in. So we're leading in the mail-in vote too, everywhere that reports by party affiliation. This has never happened before. Then you gave me this other article right before the podcast.
Plus, you said people like your mom, who's a registered Democrat, voted for Trump. A lot of people are
not
like
only that
too. They're underestimating that too.
My mother voted Republican for the first time in her life. She has always voted Democrat.
Yeah, her dad was a union guy.
Yeah, and my mother and I never talk about politics. I don't get into it with her. I'm not, because it's insane. But she voted for Trump first time. And my mother is 73.
Yeah. And 72.
72. My mother's 72. And for the first time in her life, she voted Republican.
Yeah.
And she's been voting since like 69. Right? 69.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. Now, you gave me this other article that is interesting, I must say. This is in the Daily Mail. There's a video game that's designed to predict the presidential election, okay? So this article is about that. If a video game designed to predict the presidential election is correct, Donald Trump will take the White House. It's called Starducks, the Political Machine, which forecasted Trump's win in 2016. The simulation is a turn-based map-trotting game. It's similar to Risk. Remember Risk?
Yeah.
I loved Risk.
I never played that.
That was a good game. Or any other tabletop game of political strategy, except the board itself reacts to you and your opponent's moves based on historic turnout data, debate focus groups, and more. The game makers claim it relies heavily on demographic issue patterns like job, race, sex, and income level to determine what issues voters care about. Data the team has updated regularly ever since they created the first edition 20 years ago in 2004. Initially, I found this is in the Daily Mail, the writer talking. Initially, I found the game confusing, complicated, and frankly, dorky. But in time, I was enthusiastically buying up local ads, setting up campaign offices, and hiring smear merchants to spread devious rumors about my opponent, Donald J. Trump. So this game, it's a lot like the game of Civilization, too,
right,
where you're building a political campaign instead of a civilization. I want to get this game. This sounds like a really cool game.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's available on Mac. The length of each turn was defined by my candidate's stamina bar. Joe Biden, shorter turns, for example, were set by what the game calls his sleepy stamina. Each campaign you play can run from the primaries to election day with factors like stamina, political points, and fundraising ability affecting gameplay. Since I had limited time, I jumped straight into the general election season as Harris skipping the primary, not unlike Harris herself. But even with Harris's added oomph, I found my efforts in key swing states like Pennsylvania stalling. Yet I outperformed my own expectations for Harris in states where I had not deployed much staff nor much of my campaign war chest. This sounds like a really cool game. I'm going to look this. It's called Stardock, D-O-C-K, one word. True to my own experience, Stardock's CEO says that the game now leans slightly towards Trump eking out an electoral college win. When run on autopilot with only AI non-playable characters duking it out amongst themselves, the game has accurately predicted outcomes in past elections, even uncovering surprise swing states in 2004 and 2008. Starduck's founder and CEO attributes the political machine's surprising predictive successes to the demographic and voter enthusiasm data that his team feeds into the game. Starduck's coders regularly run simulations after inputting the latest data into their updates, improving gameplay and the accuracy of the predictions. The sim thinks North Carolina is going to be really important, and it goes on and on. But regardless, it goes into a lot of details of the game, which I'm not going to go any further. But it even factors in Buzz Aldrin endorsement. It's that up to date of Trump. So it's predicting Trump a win, and it's right in every election. So that's good.
I mean, I would love to see him win in a landslide,
Absolutely.
but I'll take a small win, whatever. But I'd love to see
270 will be fine with me.
271, 270.
We only need 270 to win.
Yeah, that's all we need. I mean, I'd love a landslide like 300, 310.
Yeah.
That's what I'm expecting. I have to say the last election, I wasn't so sure as I feel like the first. And the first election, I knew he was going to win. I just knew it. I had no doubt. The second time, I wasn't so sure because of other things that we know. Trump talked about and other things going on and COVID and all this. It was too many. It was so different than any other election. So many different factors that we had never dealt with. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Now we're back to more traditional, and Trump's campaign is on fire, and he is more popular than ever. And if everybody comes out to vote for Trump that goes to the rallies, that all these college kids that see Charlie Kirk, it's going to be a landslide victory. And I think it will be. The polls are not going to come out, and the news is not going to come out and tell you that Trump's winning. They're not going to give you the real numbers. No. They're always going to tell you it's neck and neck because they want you to watch the shows tomorrow and watch the election results. If they came out and said to you, Trump's going to win, it's a blowout. They're basically saying, don't even bother. Just go to bed Tuesday night and wake up Wednesday and Trump's your president. They don't want that to happen. They want you to watch their coverage, stay up all night and watch it, be a nail biter. So, of course, they're all going to come in and tell you that it's neck and neck. They do that every election.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. They're right. Plus they want him to lose, but they need to keep you watching. They want to tell you, you got to keep watching.
Well, it's wishful thinking. If you hear some of these,
it's like
Democrats,
they're trying to manifest it.
Yeah, the things they say. They're on a whole other level.
What? Like, listen to this. Talk about the things they say. Kamala. When I heard this at first, I thought this was like some video meme that people put together. This is actually Kamala Harris unedited, right? Listen.
Get out the vote. Let's 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 win.
Oh, my goodness. She's hanging around Tim Walz's wife too much, I think, Kathy.
Yeah, I think so.
She's losing her freaking mind.
Well, like I said, they keep trying to get things going, chants. At Trump rallies, people chant on their own. Trump doesn't have to start a chant.
Correct.
He never starts a chant. They do it on their own. But Kamala and her team, they got to keep trying to get a chant going, and it just doesn't seem to ever get going because there's little excitement, and I think they know Hillary had more excitement behind her than Kamala.
Absolutely.
I mean, Hillary had a lot of excitement behind her.
That's crazy, but it's true.
A lot of women supported her. They were excited about her running.
Oh, yeah.
And they wanted her to win. She had a lot of support.
No doubt.
She really did. And there was a lot of excitement. It wasn't the same as Trump, but she had, she was filling, I would say, local gymnasiums, but they were pretty full. But she still, I don't know if that's the best gauge, but I think she still had more excitement than Kamala.
Absolutely.
Let me put it that way. Or Joe Biden.
And a lot of these Democrats are saying, so what that Trump's ahead? They had Hillary ahead. The pollsters in the media don't lie for Republicans in polls. They lie for Democrats. Yeah. Do you understand? They suppress polls from Democrats. Yeah. So whatever they say Trump is, he's further ahead.
We're all going to find out tomorrow night. It's going to be crazy.
Crazy. A Democrat attacked a Trump supporter. Listen to this. A Trump supporter was beaten to a pulp in an upstate New York supermarket Friday. According to the police, author Robert Yotte, Y-O-T-T, attacked an unnamed MAGA faithful in the Tops Friendly Market in Bath near Buffalo, New York. Police say he attacked the unnamed victim so violently that he smashed out the MAGA person's teeth. Blood was pouring from the shopper's mouth when the police got to him at 10 a.m. The police department that oversees the town where it happened described the altercation in question, saying it appears to be a random act of violence. It seems to be a hate crime, actually. Mm-hmm. And this is what happened. On November 1st, around 10 a.m., this is from the police report, the Village of Bath Police Department was dispatched to a fight at the Tops Friendly Markets. It was determined that Yotte initiated the confrontation with the stranger inside Tops after becoming aggressive over the fact that the stranger was wearing a Trump 2024 hat. He punched the MAGA victim in the mouth and head several times, causing the victim's teeth to be broken and mouth bloody. The Saturday statement continued. Yotte was not known to the victim and appears to be just a random happenstance. He's been charged with second-degree assault and fourth-degree criminal mischief. They should add hate crime to that. The latter is a misdemeanor warranting a maximum sentence of a year in jail. and a fine of $1,000. The assault charge is much more severe and could see him spend the next several years in prison. He's an author. One of his books is about a conspiracy that political leaders manipulated events leading up to the Civil War, the war itself, and the Reconstruction era, which followed. So the guy's, and if you see pictures of the guy, he's really, he's a scary guy. He's a very, very scary looking guy.
What is it about Trump? You get male callers. You get more male callers hating Trump than female callers.
I know.
Which is interesting. What is it about Trump that triggers these guys?
A lot of men.
I mean, it's just,
I'll
I
tell you
don't
what
get
it is.
it.
I'll tell you what it is. A lot of guys, they have daddy issues, and Trump is a father figure.
Yeah.
And they, that's the main thing. And a lot, and a lot of men are intimidated and threatened by a man's man.
Yeah.
And Trump's a man's man. He's a manly man,
There's
and they don't like that.
something in his personality
He's a man.
that reminds them, I think it's personal, of somebody in their life
Daddy.
that they really have issues with. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that goes for a lot of people like Bill Maher and Whoopi Goldberg. And, well, she just hates all white people, even though she dates white men only. She hates white people. I don't get her. But a lot of people that don't like Trump. What did your mom say about it, Trump, that she didn't like about him? Even though she did vote for him. Did she ever tell you?
Yeah, she said he's an a-hole. That's what my mother told me during the first election.
Well, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'll say this about my mom, who
She doesn't.
okay, my stepmother loves Trump. She loves Trump, okay? She went on the cruise, by the way, with Brian and with my dad. She's volunteering as a poll watcher and everything. She's like so MAGA, it's crazy. My mom votes for Trump. But she's like, I don't like everything he says. My mom's 82. And she's like, he gets too nasty. It bothers me.
That's
and
what my
this and
mother
that.
says, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So, but,
So
well, I don't know. A lot of people, that's a thing with them. I don't go so much by personality when I go vote. You know what I mean? I go by their policy and how they're going to help the country. And that's how you should vote. You shouldn't vote based on whether you like them or not. I think that's a stupid reason to vote for somebody. But a lot of people do. It's amazing to me. But I do think this time around, like your mom, I think there are a lot of people voting for Trump that probably never normally would. But Kamala is so bad and the country is so effed right now that they're doing it. They might be reluctant.
Yeah.
Fine. Do it reluctantly. I don't care. If somebody drag your ass to the polling booth and do it as reluctantly as you have to, but do it. Because let me tell you, if she wins, we're in trouble.
Well,
things are going to get so bad. She doesn't know what the hell she's doing.
The thing about Trump's personality, okay?
It really triggers people. I like him.
This is, this is the deal with your mother and my mother.
Yeah.
Okay. Although your mother's your mother's older than mine.
Yeah, my mom's retired. She's a retired nurse.
Yeah, my mother's retired too, but she's like 10 years younger than your mother.
Yeah.
Okay. But our mothers are of that 60s and 70s feminazi generation where women were fighting to not have to wear dresses and be able to wear pants
they were
and stuff.
through the women's lib.
For sure. They're that whole women's lib era. And
that's true.
Those are old ladies now, the women's lib thing. Yeah. So that's where they come from.
Yeah, I mean, in the 70s, my mom was in her 30s.
Yeah, and the thing about my mom was in her 20s.
Which is so crazy to think about.
And the thing about Trump and his personality, I've known a lot in the radio business. I've known a lot of guys that own radio stations, and the guys in most radio stations, the general manager of the radio station, like not necessarily the owner, but the executive is usually a man, and the person in charge of the sales department is usually a man. And they're those types, business is sales. And almost every single guy that I've worked with, it's almost everyone that's run a radio station or been the sales manager have been just like Trump in their personalities. They're that kind of personality is the type of personality that is successful in business. Kind of, this is a little extreme, but like Alec Baldwin in Glengarry Glen Ross, the always be closing type. they're strong men. They don't take, nobody says no to them, and they don't take no for an answer. And they say what they want to say, what's on their mind.
Here's the difference, though.
But that's how successful men are in the business world.
Here's the difference. If you vote for Trump, you don't have to work with Trump. You're not working with him. You're not seeing him every day. You're not part of his administration. Just vote for him and go about your business, and you'll quickly start feeling safer, have more money in your pocket. Food will be more affordable, and gas will be more affordable.
Correct.
You don't even have to pay attention if you don't want to. You don't have to see him every day. You don't have to work with him every day. So it's not like having a boss that's an a-hole. You just go and vote and then go about your business, okay? That's the way you got to look at it if you don't like the guy. You don't have to deal with him every day on it. You know what I mean? Like you're not electing a boss for your job that you go to every day.
Or picking your husband.
No, you're electing somebody to run the country and deal with these world leaders. And do you really think Kamala has anything? I could run the country better than her. And I don't know anything about doing that kind of stuff, okay? She's stupid. She is so stupid. I don't understand. Even Megyn Kelly says how dumb she is. And I don't mean to be mean, but she is. I mean, I don't understand anybody. The only reason people are voting for her is they hate Trump so much that they are voting for her because they can't stand him. And then I saw one guy on X posted his ballot. He wrote in Ron DeSantis. What a jerk. And I retweeted. I said, you just wasted your vote. Please don't do that. Please do not write in a candidate. You might as well not even go and vote. You are wasting your gas money and time. If you do that, you think it's a protest. Nobody knows who you're voting for, and nobody's going to care if you vote for a write-in candidate. It will make no difference whatsoever. Pick Kamala or Trump. Please pick Trump. If you pick Kamala, the country's screwed. I mean, we're screwed. I'm sorry. They're going to bring in another 20, 30 million illegals. They're going to flood these small towns. You know, when you have a town of 18,000 and you bring in 10,000 illegals all at once, do you know what that does to a town? What that does to the schools? Mm-hmm. How it affects your children's education when a teacher who had 20 kids now has 30 kids, and a third of her students speak Creole and not English. Do you know how much that slows down the education in that classroom? I had students that didn't speak English. I had maybe 2 or 3, okay? And I don't speak Spanish fluently, a little bit, but I had like 2 or 3 that did not speak English at all. And sometimes we'd have to get interpreters to come in there, or somebody else in the class who knew both would have to stop, explain it to them. It slows things down. It hurts the educational process, not to mention the safety. Every small town is going to be flooded with these migrants if she wins, not to mention she talked about mandatory gun buybacks, and she's going to be a tyrant.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. Now, I want to talk about Dr. Appleton and his laser away pain treatment, who's now sponsoring us here on the podcast and on YouTube. You know, Dr. Appleton last weekend rid me of pain for the 6th time. I mean, his laser away pain treatment works. It's a miracle. You know, what the laser treatment does, it repairs the damage that's causing you the pain. So that's why when he treats you, and you're better, the pain doesn't return. And it's really amazing. He's rid me of both of my shoulders. I've had injuries, arthritis, a knee injury. It's been 6 times now. It's amazing. And those of you that listen to me on the radio, you've heard countless listeners call in. Some of them are on some of the commercials, talk about the incredible work that Dr. Appleton has done, ridding them of pain. And, you know, I was having different pain, my arthritis pain, my knee pain. And I just thought it was because I'm getting older. I thought that as you get older, you got to get used to it. Because I can remember my grandparents always having aches and pains. And I just figured that's the way it was. But it's not. You don't have to live with pain. We've had listeners travel from all over the United States by train and plane, I'm not kidding, to go see Dr. Appleton here in Florida and take advantage of his laser away pain treatment. It works. Appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome because even on Saturdays, because Dr. Appleton knows when you're in pain, you need help, you need relief, and you need it now.
Let me ask you, how's his bedside manner, and What is it like when you go in the office? What happens? Because you've been to a few appointments.
Oh, he's got a great staff, and Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself. I did not know that. He did the laser treatments for me, but I thought I was getting VIP treatment. He does all the laser treatments himself.
So you get treated by the doctor.
Everybody gets treated by Dr. Appleton.
And he's very friendly.
Not an assistant. That's
important.
He is so knowledgeable. You know, when I went in there for this recent injury, my whole shoulder was hurting and I was in pain all the way down my arm. And at about 3 seconds, he was able to determine exactly where the damage was that was causing the pain. And that's what he treated with the laser treatment, and boom, gone.
That's important because a lot of doctors have PAs now.
Nope, none of that.
So you're dealing with the doctor directly. And you told me that when he palpitated your shoulder, he could tell there was fluid in there, and
everything
and everything. It's
just
amazing.
Just by touching. I mean, he's amazing.
He's really good.
He's amazing. I'm going to give you his number, and again, walk-ins are welcome. Appointments are not necessary. Just give him a call. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. Make sure you tell Dr. Appleton I sent you in. My name is Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
Are you looking for a delicious treat that's also good for you? Look no further than Well Right Gummies. Online at wellrightgummy.com. That's right, R-I-T-E. Well Right Gummies are your guilt-free snack that's bursting with flavor. These tasty gummies are not only vegan and halal, but they're also kosher and free from common allergens like soy. Whether you're on the go or just craving something sweet, Well Right Gummies are the perfect choice for everyone. You can indulge in a snack that supports your lifestyle and satisfies your taste buds too. Grab a pack of Well Right Gummies today and enjoy a delicious treat that's kind to your body and our planet. Gummy vitamins are a popular and convenient form of dietary supplement, especially for individuals who may find traditional pills or capsules challenging to swallow. Gummy vitamins often contain essential vitamins and minerals such as vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin B complex, calcium, and more. Well Right Gummies come in a variety of delicious flavors and colors. They're not only nutritious, but fun to take each and every day. Go right now to wellrightgummy.com. That's right, R-I-T-E. And order yours today. wellrightgummy.com. Mike Lindell is offering wholesale pricing for Christmas. The standard MyPillow, just $14.88. They've never been offered this low before. That's right, just $14.88. And free shipping on orders over $75. So go to MyPillow.com right now and use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and get the standard MyPillow for just $14.88, the lowest price ever. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane. Have you ever felt the weight of grief and wondered how you can move forward? It is possible. You just need the right help and guidance. And that's what you will find on the podcast, Transforming Grief, with host LeeZep. Transforming Grief is filled with powerful, healing messages. Each week on Transforming Grief, you will hear heartfelt insights as well as practical tools that will help you find peace. Whether you're facing loss of a loved one, going through a divorce, facing a disability, or even the subtle grief of losing a social role. Leah believes that grief is personal and unique, and so is the journey to healing. Transforming Grief is a safe space, a free resource to help you feel validated and feel understood, while at the same time guiding you to find strength in the present. Transforming Grief explores topics like grief and addiction, loss during pregnancy, and even grieving over socioeconomic changes. Host LeeZep also has a new book that will be released soon, Allow Me to Live My Grief and Heal from the Inside Out. It's written from her own journey of loss. Transforming Grief is available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and wherever you listen to podcasts. It's your right to grieve, and you have the power to heal. Add Transforming Grief to your podcast playlist right now.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Final segment of our final show before the election. Now, on Election Day, we're not going to podcast because that's going to be dated real quick, right? I might do some live streams in the evening and afternoon.
Yes, that'll be exciting.
On YouTube, so make sure you guys should follow me on YouTube. You know, I know a lot of you do, but if you don't, you're missing out on a lot because, you know, sometimes I'll do an hour or more YouTube live stream show before I even go to the radio station in the morning during the week. And on the weekends, I do a lot of YouTube shows.
Brian is always working.
Oh, absolutely.
Always working.
Absolutely. We have, our daughter built and set up a studio here at home for me to take live calls on YouTube, and I have not used it in a long time. I started using it again this weekend, and if you guys watch that, it's the one where I take calls from home, you know, and I'm going to start doing that on the weekends, every weekend again, and sometimes during the week. So if you don't follow me on YouTube, you should. Brian Craig Show on YouTube, and I like doing that a lot, and I get into a lot of things that I can on the radio because of time, and the radio show's so fast-paced sometimes. Yeah. It's and it goes by so quick. Like, the show's over, and I feel like I just walked into the radio station. Okay, so we just got some breaking news from Catherine Herridge about the Hunter Biden laptop story. Listen to this. And this is in the
We're
Daily
just reading
Mail.
This just now.
This just dropped.
This is fresh.
This just dropped like 60 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Okay. And an ousted veteran CBS reporter has written a lengthy expose revealing details about how the network squashed a Hunter Biden story. Writing on her website, Catherine Herridge, she used to be on Fox and she went to CBS.
Yeah, this all goes back to CBS, 60 Minutes, Dan Rather. They got a problem over there.
Yep. On her website, Catherine Herridge described the broadcaster's investigation into the laptop as a missed opportunity for CBS News, suggesting the broadcaster failed to properly report her findings. Herridge said she told company executives the laptop contained material about $1 million retainer from a Chinese energy firm, along with Hunter's business text and emails in early October 2020. But later that month, during a 60 Minutes interview with then President Trump, correspondent Lesley Stahl said the laptop couldn't be verified, according to Herridge. As I watched the broadcast, I felt sick. So I haven't read. I'm reading this cold, okay? Because this just dropped. And my guess is once Lesley Stahl said it couldn't be verified, CBS wanted to protect Lesley Stahl as much as Joe Biden, and you know. But later that I read that part. It comes after two IRS whistleblowers sat down with Herridge for an interview and told her they were banned from investigating Joe Biden amid the government's probe into Hunter. Herridge is suggesting that CBS failed to properly report on what she found on the laptop. I had been tasked with vetting the laptop and its contents after multiple platforms had suppressed the story. Remember Twitter and all that stuff? Herridge wrote, adding that she was commissioned by CBS News executive Ingrid Cyprian Matthews for confirmed reporting on Hunter Biden for evening news anchor Norah O'Donnell in October 2020. Due diligence included working the phones, reaching out to people on the Hunter Biden emails to corroborate and cross-reference records. The vetting documents I collected also indicated the laptop did belong to Hunter. She told her boss the vetted materials included a $1 million retainer from a Chinese energy firm, emails with Hunter Biden's former business partner, that Bob Alinsky guy, as well as Hunter Biden text messages. She was asked by her boss if there was a Hunter connection. I responded, yes, all of them. I then provided some of the vetted records directly to her bosses. We did speak briefly on the phone. I don't know at this point what happened next. Based on my reporting and as the network's senior investigative correspondent, the CBS News investigative unit was not tasked in October 2020 to develop more reporting on the laptop. That would have been standard practice. Herridge said that a 60 Minutes interview with then President Trump later that month made her feel sick, as CBS anchors told him the laptop can't be verified, even though CBS themselves, through Catherine Herridge, had verified it.
Wow, they're crooked as hell over there.
I knew the laptop records could be vetted and confirmed, she said. I was confused by what seemed a disconnect between the CBS News division and 60 Minutes. It took an additional 2 years for the network to broadcast a forensic review of the Hunter Biden laptop data. I advocated for the report, which determined that both the data belonged to Hunter and it had not been tampered with. Our report was broadcast in November 2022 after the midterm elections. There was no doubt a cover. You know, the thing about the laptop.
Their first mistake was putting her on the case.
Yeah.
Because she's a very good reporter. And whoever assigned that to her, didn't they know that she would definitely get to the bottom of it?
I don't know, but I know this, okay, that they probably assume, Kathy, that like the rest of the news media, she's a liberal hack who would cover for the Democrats.
No, she's a very good reporter.
You know, if I remember correctly, wasn't she like the Pentagon reporter for Fox? She was always she always seemed
Fox.
to be beyond away from all the.
She was very
intrigue.
good and just not partisan and just told you what was going on.
Yeah. You know, the Hunter Biden laptop, you guys, I got the book on tape, Laptop from Hell by Miranda Devine. Get the audiobook. Okay, not the regular book. Get the audiobook and listen to it. It will freak you out. It goes through not just all the contents of the laptop, but it goes through the entire political career of Joe Biden. Joe Biden is more crooked than a mafia boss.
And he's been crooked from day one.
You guys
Miranda
have
Devine
no
said
idea.
from day one.
He is, he is so crooked. Biden is so crooked. I don't think this is an exaggeration. He doesn't even know he's crooked. You understand? He doesn't know there's another way. He just thinks that's life.
Well,
right?
he's got a criminal mindset.
He's criminally insane. He's like one of those supervillains in Batman and Gotham.
Yeah, it's normal to him.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And he raised his kids up in a mob family.
We're the idiots because we're
exactly
honest.
Yeah. So, you know, the laptop, though, was obviously the October surprise last time from the Trump camp. It is the first time in history that the Republicans had an October surprise for the Democrats. It's usually the other way around, like Bush's DUI, you know, stuff like that.
What would you say has been the October surprise this year? Because was there one really big thing? Not really.
I think because we have voting month, there isn't one. Things just come out. You know, like
was there one big thing in October that happened that I can't? I'm sure there's something, I just can't think of it, that really hurt. Not that she was doing well in the first place, but wasn't there something that happened that really hurt Kamala?
There's been a slow drip.
Nothing against Trump because they've already gone to that well too many times.
Yeah, there's nothing on Trump.
And so much that everything they have, they've created.
But you know what I wonder, as crazy as this sounds, do you think this Peanut the Squirrel thing is going to have any impact in New York, in the vote in New York?
Well, I got to tell you, William Shatner even tweeted about it.
Did he really?
He was upset about it.
He's a big animal guy.
He's a big animal guy. He's a big liberal. I don't know if it'll get people to change their vote, but it might. I'm telling you, would not be shocked if New York went red. I'm
over
telling
Peanut?
You, over Peanut and over the issue with Israel and Gaza and the war. There's a lot of Jewish people and Muslims, and they got to flip New York City. That's the main thing. The rest of New York it's only a few counties that are blue, and they're just heavily, heavily populated. The problem is, like, when Mayor Adams was elected, you had told me only 8% of people voted.
Yeah,
I mean, they've got to get out and vote. I think there's a lot more conservatives than they realize. And maybe after the Madison Square Garden rally, people looked around and thought, oh my God, there's a lot more of us than I thought. Yeah. And it'll get people out to vote. Wouldn't that be shocking? And wouldn't it be shocking if Peanut had some kind of effect on that? Because people across the board are pretty damn upset about what they did to that poor little squirrel. It's pretty sickening. I mean, I know squirrels are not traditional pets, but this guy raised this squirrel from when he was a baby. He rescued him. His mom was hit by a car. Same with the raccoon was rescued, and they weren't bothering anybody, and they stormed in, got a search warrant, and killed their pets. I mean, that's something that I think Americans love their pets, and I think that's something everybody is appalled by.
You know, Kathy,
but wouldn't that be something if Peanut I see on X people are saying justice for Peanut, avenge me.
A couple things about it.
It's pretty funny.
They euthanized Peanut the squirrel and then the raccoon.
Yeah, Fred.
And they said that they needed to do a rabies test. They got to kill the animal for that. Why do the rabies test? Just give the guy the rabies shot. Just assume it. And how many of you have seen that video? It's been online for years of that strange guy with all the raccoons crawling all over him, feeding hot dogs.
Oh, yes. And they're the fattest raccoons you've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that video.
He's got like 15 that come up to his porch.
Yeah, and the thing about
that to me is a problem.
The thing about Peanut, it's not just because he's cute and everything and had all those followers. It brought people back to the lockdown period in New York and in California when these Democrats in New York are so out of control, busting into people's houses and violating their rights. They had 5 different agencies with guns and warrants, treated them like the guy was El Chapo, breaking into his house. The guy's wife, Peanut, his wife is an immigrant from Germany. Yeah. They even checked her immigration status. Since when all of a sudden did New York Democrats check immigration status?
My grandpa and grandma owned a mobile home park and had a lot of trees. It was in Hallandale. And we'd go there and visit them. It was only like half hour from our house. And my grandpa Charlie had a wild squirrel that lived outside, and he would put a little peanut on his shoulder, and he'd hold out his arm, and the squirrel was trained to come down. It was the same squirrel. He did it every time we'd come visit, and he did it every day, and he'd feed him a couple. He'd put a little nuts on his shoulder, and the squirrel would run down his arm, grab him, and leave. And he did it every time. It was like a trick. It was so cute. A lot of people...
I had an aunt that fed a wild squirrel on her front porch.
But a lot of people have squirrels in their homes. Like, if you raise them, they can be domesticated, and they're very friendly.
It's not my thing.
But anytime somebody... You could have a dog, and if strangers barge in, there's a chance your dog might bite them because their inclination is to protect you.
They're scared.
The home, and there's fear. They're not doing it to be mean. That's just their instinct. Animals don't think that way. They just go with their instinct. How terrifying for this little squirrel to have people, federal agents come in all in their gear.
Their state.
Screaming and yelling and shouting, and this tiny little animal... It's horrifying. I mean, I think it really... I mean, it would be something if that
Kathy,
turned into state.
The thing with these animals, okay, if it was a thing, they could have nicely knocked. They had their warrants. They could have held the animals in like the Humane Society, some type of animal control place while it was being investigated. Did they have to kill them? And what, I mean, and they had They had the guy out on the curb of his own house for 5 hours while they exercised a search warrant for 5 hours.
Well, look what they did with Elian Gonzalez. That happened down here.
I saw a meme.
It was so big on the news.
Did you see the Elian meme with this?
No, somebody made the comparison. Okay.
I saw a meme this morning, and it was the fisherman in the closet holding Peanut instead of Elian.
I know that picture. Yeah. But the guy with the gun.
Donato Del Rimple was the fisherman.
Yes, there was a famous photo. Google it, Elian Gonzalez. It happened in Miami.
Little Elian.
The story, it's an amazing story. And there's a famous photo of him being held by his uncle in the closet, and the door's open, and there's a guy with like
federal agent that
rifle with a rifle to
fully automatic
on them, fully automatic, and Elon is screaming
5-6-year-old kid
in terror. It's a horrible story, and that was Janet Reno and all this stuff, and so it's the same deal. That was a person, that was a kid, and luckily nobody got killed, and they sent Elon back to his father in Cuba. But yeah, I could see that that's pretty clever to do that. Yeah,
it was pretty good.
Peanut, because I wouldn't even. Yeah, I just kind of made that connection.
That Elian Gonzalez thing, because we had the fisherman on the show.
That was huge down here.
Donato Del Rimple.
Yes,
and Steve Kane and I went to the Elian Gonzalez house.
Oh, it was such a big story.
This was before YouTube and all that stuff. And Steve and I used to have we were on the radio, but we used to have a cable access TV show.
Yeah,
and we went to Elian Gonzalez's house, which was a madhouse. There was like 1 million people out there.
Well, it went on for months.
Yeah, and we had our cameraman from our cable access TV show. And the summer or two before, we were in Atlanta, and I took a tour as a tourist of the CNN studios in Atlanta. And in the gift shop, I bought a T-shirt that said CNN Headline News. And when we went to Elian Gonzalez's house, I wore the T-shirt that said CNN Headline News. And they all thought we were CNN. So we got these interviews with all the big shots. They all thought we were CNN.
That's crazy. Why did you buy a CNN shirt?
I don't know. And it came in handy, and it was so funny.
Don't wear it now. You get spit on.
Steve was like, how are we getting all these big interviews? We were right, and we were right at Elian Gonzalez is right in the front door of his house. And I said, it's the shirt. It says CNN Headline News. They think we're CNN.
Unbelievable.
It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Now I want
Justice, and somebody put on X a picture of Peanut, and it said "Avenge me."
Yes.
It was so crazy.
Yeah.
The memes have not disappointed.
It's good.
But poor Peanut.
But
and Fred.
Peanut is. I think Peanut plays a bigger role
He might.
in this election than J-Lo and Harrison Ford and Will Ferrell and Bruce Springsteen and.
Somebody said Trump should come out in a squirrel costume. I don't know if that's going to happen.
I don't think that's a good idea. Now, I want to thank all of our Patreon supporters. And remember, those of you that are Patreon supporters, all Patreon supporters have access to commercial-free editions of all of our podcast episodes, okay, on our Patreon page. And our top Patreon supporters get a live, on-air thank you shout-out on every episode. Now, if you would like to support the show by becoming a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. The names you'll hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, George, Brandon, Rob and Trish Wilkerson. Rob and Trish actually called me on my YouTube live stream show yesterday. Christy R. and John S. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you all for your support.
And we have some new patrons, too, that are not top Patreon, but just as important. And I want to thank you guys, too. We've had some new ones this week. And it's fun to join, and we put up pictures, and I put up some funny memes, and Brian does videos sometimes, and we have a little chat in there, and you can message us and contact us anytime you want, so you just get a little more access.
That's true.
Into our lives.
That's right.
If you're interested.
Now, we're all out of time for today, but we will be back next time. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We will